Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to the Beysidejewel. Hope you guys are doing well. And wow, we're doing pretty good here. Let me tell you something. It's rough having a tenant. Oh, being a landlord. It ain't easy. It ain't easy because, boy, sometimes some people are never pleased. Just gonna leave it at that. But anyway, today I'm gonna share with you my thoughts as well as try to bring you some receipts to actually kind of confirm my theory and what I know. Because I haven't dropped the Beysidejewel to you guys in a while, so I think it's time. And today I'm gonna do just that. I'm gonna drop you a Beysidejewel, something that you can take with you and you can know. You know, you don't have to doubt about it anymore because, like I said, I'm bringing receipts. So the first thing is I want to share my thought, okay? When I was here in America, man, I got the feeling shit wasn't right? Shit just wasn't right. Didn't add up. So when I started doing my research, my eyes started opening more and more. And of course, my third eye opened up and I was like, oh, hell no. Because I had the feeling, I've heard scholars say your DNA is, inside of you can go back as far as 13 billion years. Well, my DNA was certainly activating and bringing this memory to me, So, I didn't really have to speculate. It was all coming to me, But I think it was the ancestors that was actually guiding me to verify what I'm about to tell you. Okay? The first thought is when I was there in America, man, and I started seeing things where it was not right. I started looking at the United States as a plantation, really. No different than a slave and his master. So the United States, to me, this is my thought, has taken the place of a slave master. But it's a system. It's not one individual. They done cloned themselves all over the place. So it's now a system. Whether it's, a teacher, a police officer, a judge, a lawyer, it's all their stuff. It's all their stuff, And you're being indoctrinated to operate whatever platform it is that you're going after. It's got to be after their curriculum, isn't that right? Their curriculum. Once you, scored high on their curriculum, now you got this piece of paper. No different than how the Romans used to do when they used to send their missionary out to conquer the Muslims. If you didn't believe in what they believe in, they will kill your ass. But if you were one of their soldiers, they would give you a receipt, and they would say, if you die, this is your receipt. You can go to heaven. So it's kind of like that. But anyway, so I was saying that the United States is like a slave master, right? And the American people, which have been hypothecated and put in their possession as property or slaves, right? So they are the master of the United States, and they are mastering over the American people, the indigenous people. It's one thing for someone to come from over there and become nationalized to be a citizen, but it's a different thing for those who were already there, We didn't have to do none of that shit because we was already there. We didn't have to be nationalized. But what they did was put you in their corporation as their property. This is why I pointed out to you in their 13th Amendment of their Constitution for their government, not for the American people. It's a constitution for their government, their system, for the bullshit that they are doing. But they boldly tell you in the 13th Amendment that once you become incarcerated or convicted of a crime, they are now having the right to rule over you, and you become property or their slave. That's what it says. I didn't write it. They did. And it's right there in your face in the 13th Amendment. But yeah, so they are operating like the slave master, and the American people, or if you want to call it American people, because we didn't name our land America. We didn't do that. So, the so-called allegedly American people don't know that they've been hypothecated, by the U.S. And the U.S. is like the slave master. So it's just it's a same old game done in a different kind of way. When you had slave master and you heard slaves, "Massa, please, Massa," right? Well, their system is just like they are the master, and they're working the shit out of you just to be able to have a decent home, right? Just to be able to support your family. They're working the shit out of you. In other ways, they're providing shortcuts by providing, welfare or Section 8 housing for the ladies, for the sisters. But this shit divides us. It keeps us divided, because they allow, I've said this before, they allow just about everybody else to be a complete family. But the sisters cannot have a man in the house. So that's war on us all by itself. Because that's creating a dysfunctional family structure, and it's unbalanced for our children, Hell, it's even unbalanced for our sisters, I mean, things are better when you got yin and yang, male and female balance. But anyway, so that's my take on, what's going on in America. Yeah, they keeping our people, keep you so busy, you don't even really have time to think. So this is another reason why I wanted to get out of there, and live more of a free life to some extent, to some extent. Even when you get out, and you still got ties to the system, you ain't fully out, but you're doing the best you can. That's what I'm doing, the best I can to be a free man. So just like they had free men back in the days, that's what I'm trying to do. Well, that's what I'm doing now, operating as a free man, on the other side of the world, shit, here in Africa. But what I wanted to show you, I kept on referring to, to this document here. Let's see, can you see it? Rights of Indigenous People. This is a very important document. This document will show you all the freedom that you are supposed to have there in America in particular, But what our people don't realize is that this document, it really only applies to indigenous people. And if you don't refer to yourself as indigenous people, you don't have these rights. If you stay listed as property belonging to the United States, you don't have these rights. So that's why I keep telling you to look up this United Nations Declaration on the rights of indigenous people. Look it up. You'll be surprised how many rights you have. But I'm going to read through some of these rights, and I think you'll be surprised, really. Like I said, I'm dropping this jewel. It has been a while since I've dropped some jewels for you guys to work with. But I'm going to do it. And let me see here. Here goes Article 1, okay? Rights of Indigenous People. Article 1. Indigenous people have the right to the full enjoyment as a collective or as individuals of all human rights and fundamental freedom as recognized in the Charter of the United Nations, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and international human rights law. Okay? Indigenous people and indigenous individuals are free and equal to all other peoples and individuals and have the right to be free from any kind of discrimination. In the exercise of their rights, in particular that based on their indigenous origin or identity. Article 3, here we go. Indigenous people have the right to self-determination. By virtue of that right, they freely determine their political status and freely pursue their economic, social, and cultural development. Now, what I want to say about this is self-determination. Self-determination means that you have the right to operate how you want to operate and even govern yourself how you want to govern. That's self-determination. But what you want to do is put it on the records, that you are indigenous. You've come back to your culture, your roots. Okay? Now, let's go to Article 4. Indigenous people, in exercising their right to self-determination, have the right to autonomy or self-government in matters relating to, let me see, their internal and local affairs, as well as ways and means for financing their autonomous functions. So you have the right to operate as your own government. As your own government. We have that right. You can do it individual or you can do it as a nation. So this is the shit that's been kept from us, you guys. Okay, indigenous people have this is Article 5. Indigenous people have the right to maintain and strengthen their distinctive political, legal, economic, social, and cultural institutions while retaining their right to participate fully, if they choose so, in the political, economical, social, or cultural life of the state. So you have the right to participate with the state, or we have the right to participate as our own nation of people. It's up to you. It's our choice. Okay? Article 6, every indigenous individual has the right to a nationality. That means every man, woman, and child has a right to a nationality. By the way, I just got to say it again. I get it. You want to say I'm black, but black is technically not a nationality. Technically, it's not. All right? But if you say you are a Hebrew, or you are a Jew, or you are a Moor, now you're talking about some indigenous status, So, even like Whoopi Goldberg, she says she is a Jew, Just like Brother Ye West come to himself and he says, I am a Jew, So, and we're throughout the planet, where we come from with our culture and shit. It's throughout the planet. Some of us say we are Jews. Some of us say, we are Hebrews. Some of us say we are Moors. We're just spread it all across the planet. And it's no different than, this tribal thing. A lot of us say we are Fulanis, Wolof, Mandinka. Yeah, we did a lot of this stuff, and we were spread it out throughout the planet. Okay, now let me get to Article 5 here. Indigenous people. Did I do this? I think I did. So let me go to Article 6. Every indigenous individual has the right to a nationality. I've been there too. Okay, Article 7. Indigenous individuals have the right to life, physical and mental integrity, liberty and security of person. Okay, indigenous people have the collective right to live in freedom, peace, and security as distinctive peoples, and shall not be subjected to any kind of genocide or any other act of violence, including forcibly removing children of the group to another group. So they don't have rights taking your damn children. They don't have rights removing your damn children. This shit here in the rights of indigenous people, this is your guaranteed right as indigenous, being indigenous. So why wouldn't you want to be indigenous to cover your own ass? To be able to operate these rights using these laws. These are laws. It's not color of law. So these are laws, and you have law, which is de jure. But the United States, it's actually got fictitious laws. Color of law is fictitious. It's only law if you allow it to be, because you're not using your law. So I want to make this shit clear, because I want my people to experience some freedom, even while you're there in America. Okay? Now, I'm going to go to Article 8. I'm going to read this. And then I got some really powerful shit. Check this out. This is Article 8. Indigenous people and indigenous individuals have the right not to be subjected to forced assimilation or destruction of their culture. So you don't have to assimilate. If you are indigenous, you don't have to assimilate, because you are distinctive. You're indigenous. And being indigenous means that you are tied to the damn land. This is why they're making so many damn prisons. Because they know that us melanated people in America, we're tied to the damn land. We're indigenous. That's why they can't send you no damn where. They can't remove you off your own land. But what they can do is build more prisons to lock your ass up. And according to their law, if they lock you up, now you're their property, and you can work for them for what, $0.25 a day? That's how they do it. So I'm letting you know your rights, y'all. And these things, man, you should really take to heart. If you don't like playing the game, you should refer to yourself and put it on the record. You're indigenous. Put it on the record. You are Hebrew, and you're indigenous, tied to the land. You were there. Put it on the record, for the record, and let the record show. Okay? All right. So that was heavy. You have the right not to be subjected to forced assimilation or destruction of your culture. That's powerful shit. That's some rights for you to know. As well as, what is the other one? They can't remove your children. No, they ain't got the right to take your damn children. It's your guaranteed right here in the rights of indigenous people. Now, I'm just going to read a couple more of these. Okay. Any form of forced population transfer which has the aim of effect of violating or undermining any of their rights. They don't have the right to do that. Any form of forced assimilation or integration, they don't have the right to do that. Any form of propaganda designed to promote or incite racial or ethnic discrimination direct against them, they don't have the right to do that. But, you know, if they do it in a way where it's subliminal, it's kind of hard to prove, right? Okay, I'm going to read Article 9 here. Indigenous people and indigenous people and individuals have the right to belong to an indigenous community or a nation in accordance with the tradition and customs of the community or nation concerned. No discrimination of any kind may arise from the exercise of such right. I hope y'all are listening to this shit. This is some powerful shit. Okay, Article 10. Indigenous people shall not be forcibly removed from their lands or territories. No relocation shall take place without the free, prior, and informed consent of the indigenous people, indigenous peoples concerned, and afterward agreement on just and fair compensation, and where possible, with the option of return. They can't move you any damn where. They can't relocate you no damn where. These are your damn rights, and you got so many more, you guys. You got so many more rights if you claim yourself as an indigenous man or woman. This is the document to look over for your rights. Yeah, for your rights. And as far as the United States go, I'm trying to tell you guys, it's not a myth. This shit is real. It's just a corporation, a big-ass Burger King being ran on the land that is now called America. Every 50 years, it got renewed a lease. And I'm going to come with some receipts on this one. Now, here's the other document that I've been trying to tell you guys to look up for years. Okay, this is the document. This document, Pope Francis sends Obama powerful letter, VIA attorney, on July 4th, 2014. Okay? July 4th, 2014. You guys need to look this shit up. It's going to blow your damn mind. Okay? But I'm going to read a little bit of it. Okay? Let me see here. Yeah, this is the civil orders from the Pope. This was shit that they were supposed to do in the corporation, but they didn't do it. They disregard what the Pope said. They're going to keep on doing what the hell they want to do. That's what they say, you know? Let me see where I want to start, though. Okay, let me see here. I'm going to start right here. This letter was issued to all members of the domestic policy forces, U.S. Marshal Service and Provost Marshal, members of the American Bar Association and the American Armed Services. This organic state of the Union, known as the United States of America, major because it's spelt the right way, exercising plenary civil powers upon the land, hereby appointed General Carter F. Ham to lead and command the Grand Army of the Republic, known as the GAR, okay? And its successors under the guidance of Joint Chief of Staff with their full support. These are the orders. These are the orders that the Pope has given the Corporation of America, of the United States, should I say. Okay, let me see here. Any cost or loss suffered as a result of deployment of the Grand Army of the Republic shall be charged as stipulated prior. All efforts should be made by the Grand Army of the Republic to spare life and property while undertaking any action whatsoever within the State of the Union exception. The GAR is uniquely enabled by these orders to operate on the land of the 50 organic states for the purpose of acquiring the lives and properties of the American states and American state citizens. The GAR is not a foreign army and is composed primarily of American state citizens. If required to take field position, the local commander shall make every effort to communicate the basics to the authorities and the reasons for their presence on American state soil. Ensure a prompt cessation of hostilities and a widespread understanding of the usurpations an act of fraud which have led to any conflict. So they're trying to do this as peacefully as possible. Okay, let's see. The limitations of its authority and their own obligation to act in favor of the organic states of the Union. The Grand Army of the Republic shall continue to operate under general order states of the Union. The Grand Army of the Republic shall continue to operate under general orders state of the Union. Okay, let me see here. 100 known as the Lieber Code, extent from the pen of the last Republic president, Abraham Lincoln. So that means that you haven't really had a president since Abraham Lincoln. That's in the 1800s. You have not had a legitimate president since Abraham Lincoln. Because what they've been doing is they've been scamming everybody. They keep changing the name of the United States of America, United States, capital letters, United States small case letters. They keep changing it because whenever they got a problem, they go bankrupt, then they'll change the name and they'll come up with another scheme. That's how I'm going to explain that. No orders, executive or otherwise, issued by Barack H. Obama pretending authority on the land of the American states while operating as president of the United States Corporation, nor as the President of the United States of America are owed any performance by the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Ham, or ordinarily, any plainly stated grants of contractual authority evident in the Constitution of the United States of America remains in place, subject to good faith performance of the accomplished obligations and treaties. We also have treaties, you guys. Mr. Obama is the president of a governmental service corporation under the contract to provide stipulated services to the organic states and is on the payroll. So he's an acting president for the United States, okay? because they're not de jure, they're de facto, and this letter is going to prove it. Just hang on. Okay. He otherwise acts as a foreign dignitary representative of the United States of America, minor. There's a difference between major and minor. In neither of these capacities is he allowed any granted authority to impose upon American state citizens, endanger American state property, or command mercenary forces on American state soil, however veiled as federal civilian service agencies. We require the Joint Chiefs of Staff and General Ham to commence measures to disarm federal civilians, agencies, personnel, and to seize control of the vast stockpiles of arms, which have been improperly masked by the Department of Homeland Security, FEMA, and other agencies employed by the United States. The only federal agency allowed free egress on the land of American state is the United States Marshal Service, and then only when their personnel are engaged in their duty to protect the United States mail and sworn to act as constitutional officers, the real constitutional officers. Okay, the real constitutional officers. Okay, let me skip down here. We direct Joint Chief of Staff to communicate these first two general civil orders directly to Mr. Obama. The members of the U.S. Congress, the administrators of all federal agencies, the members of the Supreme Court, and those acting as governors to compel their rapid understanding and cooperation. In any expense or damage incurred by these organic states or any American state citizen as a result of action undertaken by the federal agency personnel acting as armed mercenaries on American state soil will be understood as the result of violent crimes committed against the peaceful inhabitants of the land, and will incur immediate judgment liquidating the assets of the International Monetary Funds and the Federal Reserve in payment of the stipulated reparations. Such crimes shall also be considered contract subject to bounty. So they're supposed to follow these orders, and they're not supposed to violate us or do any damage to our property, our land. See, the Pope knows, he knows. So here we go. Let me read just a little more of this, but I'm going to get to some serious shit here. Watch. Any and all corporate officers of the United States or any successor organization inheriting federal service contracts who supported, condoned, or promoted such crimes against the American state or against American state citizens shall be subject to arrest and prosecution. For commercial and violent crimes, all foreign officials operating as elected or appointed officials of the United States of America who support, condone, or promote such crimes against the American state or the American state citizens shall be subject to arrest, confiscation on their asset, and deportation to Puerto Rico, Guam, or such other states as may be willing to receive them. So if they violate this shit, they're supposed to be deported. Okay, we're back. Let me continue because this is getting very interesting. Check this out. Such foreign officials include members of the American and British Bar Association, who were licensed to act as privateers against the interests of the American states and the American state people, citizens, from 1845 to 2013 in flagrant breach of trust. All such licenses are now extinguished. Members of the Bar Association are required to cease and desist assaults against American states and American state citizens, and shall be subject to arrest, compensation, and deportation otherwise. So you see, technically these guys have been fired ever since 2013 when the Pope put this out there. He told them to cease and desist. So the police should not be having guns. The government is not supposed to be operating as government, because they're not. They're not really government, you guys. That's what I gotta say. You know, I can't emphasize this enough. And I'm not sure if any of you are actually reading this stuff, man, because I pointed these documents out to you many times. But I just don't know if you guys are receiving it very well. So I thought it to bring it up on my own to share the documents with you. Okay, let me see here. Okay, I'm gonna just skip down to this part here where it says, no enforcement upon any American state or American state citizen is owed as a result of any act of any Congress operating as sovereign government of the United States of America minor, nor as board of directors or board of trustees of any incorporate entity whatsoever. Okay, so you guys, they're operating fraudulently, and because our people don't know any wiser, they're getting away with it, you know? So, you know, you guys, the United States is their platform, and you as an American, indigenous sovereign American, you're supposed to be the sovereign, not the government. As a matter of fact, their constitution that they are using is actually a constitution for them. It's not for the American people. So just thought I'd point out some things, you know. And let me go back to the front of this document here, because I want to point out some more things to you that I might have looked over. Okay? I'm going to start right here where it says Matthew, this guy who's supposed to be, no, he's not supposed to be in charge. General Ham is supposed to take over. But I'm going to start right here where it says, basically says, this current pope is working for the light. Okay? Anyway, don't waste your time on the political circus, because that's what it is, a circus, concerning the U.S. election. I don't expect to see one. You know why? Because it says here, when Nazira is announced, the new are held, we can then elect the interim president for another 4 years to elect someone else. The letter below is pretty self-explanatory. I've already read that part to you. So you see, you guys, this act called Nazira is supposed to come to the planet, right? Now, I really didn't know what Nazira was until I heard this brother talking about Nazira, and then I did a little research to verify what I was hearing from him was actually correct. So Nazira is a law that's supposed to come to the planet. It's what they call Nazira, Geyser, Lazera or something like that, Nazera. But that is supposed to put things back into its right perspective for the planet. Now, as far as I've been keeping an eye on things, and Nazera, little bit here and there, I can see is kicked in. But what Nazera actually talks about is taking over the platform that's been placed upon us, you guys. This fraudulent government. Nazera is supposed to hit the planet, and Nazera is supposed to shut down the internet, 10 days of darkness. So it's supposed to shut down the power grid and change everything over to something that cannot be manipulated. Not only that, but when I looked up further into this act, these people basically they owe the damn planet. So ultimately, they're in America in particular, I know that they're supposed to come up with a way to provide universal basic income for everybody because they owe us. So, just a little bit of what I know. I'm sending you some jewels. You guys can do the research on anything that I said here to get a better understanding for yourself. But I suggest you do it if you really want to know what the hell's going on. I don't think it's a bad thing to do. But anyway, that's all I got for you. I'm Brother Bay. I'm your host here at Beysidejewel, dropping you a Beyside jewel on the side. Till the next time, you guys. Salam alaikum.